What is happiness? Happiness is achievement. What's the father of achievement? Motivation. What's the mother? Encouragement. The fine golf swing is truly achievement. Man may lie, cheat, and steal for gain. But you'll never gain the golf swing. To gain the golf swing, man must work. It's work without toil. For those of us who know and love it, golf is truly happiness.
Everybody, I want to welcome you to this special presentation, the Two Birds presentation. And I'm Tim Graves, co-founder of the Graves Golf Academy. I've actually been doing this for, it's going over 26 years now. We just went through our 25th anniversary, and we've been teaching Mo Norman swing and the single plane swing now for over 25 years. And I have staff, phenomenal staff here at our location when we're in Oklahoma, and then I have staff all over the country, Phoenix, Orlando, and honestly all over the country, even some up in Canada. But we teach Mo Norman single plane swing and the short game all over the country for you guys at home that hopefully makes this game easier, makes it more fun, and makes it more enjoyable for you guys. Tonight, what I want to talk about is the Two Birds. And I want to talk about this and how it relates to how we teach what we teach, in particular, a little bit about our schools. Because this time of year, we've actually bring this up is because we have an early bird special going on right now with our schools. But we get this question all the time: what do you teach at this school? How do you teach at the school? But more importantly, what do you teach? What's the agenda of the school? And when we go into that, we always start talking. Our schools, when we teach schools, it's about a third classroom-like setting, a third short game, and a third full swing. Okay, that's number one. Number two is, we always say we do putting, we do chipping, we do pitching, we do full swing at the school. And the number one response we get from people is, well, I want to just come to a full swing school, or why do I need to do that short game? And when they say that to me, they don't understand the way we train or how we train. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And I call it the Two Birds. And so why do I call it the Two Birds? The two birds are this. The two birds with one stone is what I call it. When you train, if you work on your short game, your putting, your chipping, your pitching, the two things it does is, because of the way we teach, because of our methodology, because of our system, not only does it help you build your full swing, because there's the same characteristics in that short game as the full swing, which we're going to discuss tonight, but it also helps you build your full swing, or your short game. So think about it. If I'm working on my putting properly, it helps my fundamentals of my full swing, which is great, but also helps me putting, which is 50% of the game. If I'm working on my chipping, okay, it helps some fundamentals of the full swing, but it also helps me build improve my short game. So it helps me improve scoring. So if you're doing this right, it's like getting two birds with one stone. If you're working on your short game properly, you're working on training properly, it helps you build your full swing, even if you're working on your short game, but it also does what? It also helps your scoring dramatically. Because guys, 75% of the scoring occurs within 100 yards of the green, okay? So if we're not working on that, we're really not going to improve much of the scoring. All right, but here's what's interesting. A lot of this you can do over the winter, okay? And to top that off, this is how we set up our schools. And we get these questions about this, okay? And in particular, our 3-day schools. We have a lot of people who come in, they've never been to us before, and they say, where do we start? And we say, start with a 3-day school, And why? Because it's not a cram session, but it's like a rapid session of going through the two birds with one stone and working on how to build that swing from the ground up, okay? So let's talk about that tonight. What is the two birds with one stone? In a little while, I'm going to bring in James in here, and he's going to talk about what we do at the schools, because it's really intertwined. I want to give you real life of what we do. So I'm going to tell you about two birds, and then I'm going to bring James in here, who's my school manager. And he's going to talk about how we put this into schools and why it's so important, if you can, to get to school with Graves Golf, okay? So I'm going to give you an example of this, okay? So I'm going to give you some real simple example. So let's start with the putter, okay? And I'm going to give you a couple fundamentals with the putter. And these fundamentals, I'm going to show you how they're directly related to the full swing. And here's what's interesting. You come to one of our schools, we've never seen you before in our life. And one of the first things we do after having a little classroom session is we get you out in the putting green. So one of the very first thing we do, whether it's a 3-day school, a 5-day school, we get you in the putting green. And so I've never seen you before, and I'm watching you hit some putts. And I'm watching the motion of the putter, or my staff's watching your motion of the putter. And immediately they can tell you mistakes you're making with the driver, mistakes you're making with the hybrids, mistakes you're making with your irons. They can, and by watching the putter. And it freaks people out. Like James or David or somebody that come in there and you'll be hitting the putter and you might be doing this. And they'll say, okay, you have a real time hitting your hard time hitting your hybrids, and you're losing a lot of distance with your driver. And you look at them like, well, how can you know that? You've never seen me before. You've only seen me putt. Well, you're casting your putter. And when you cast your putter, it's a 100% guarantee you're going to cast every club in your bag. What happens when you cast those clubs in the bag? Well, you won't make a divot with the hybrid. You won't like your hybrids. You'll lose distance with the driver. So all of a sudden, we got issues throughout the whole bag because you're casting your clubs. Well, how do you train not casting the clubs or keeping leverage through impact? Well, you can try to do with the full swing all you want, but most people, in fact, 99% of people are not going to be able to figure out doing full swing. So you got to slow it down. So how about if we do this? How about if we pull out a putter and we work on the proper putting motion? And the proper putting motion is I'm taking a good proper putting motion, I'm creating shaft lean with this putter. So right now when I set up, I'm looking at the camera, there's no shaft lean in that putter. Now I push this putter forward, I've created shaft lean. There's shaft lean in that putter. So now I create that shaft lean in the putter and I maintain that shaft lean through the entire putt. So notice, I didn't flip it when you get done. So we'll get to the point where we call what's called a hip check. So when we get done, the butt end of this putter is pointed at my lead hip. I have shaft lean maintained through the putt, okay? So whether your lead hand low, your trail hand low, we have to maintain shaft lean through the putt. In fact, every good player in the world who plays good golf, you can watch them on TV, you will see they have shaft lean through the putter and they will have shaft lean through impact and maintain that shaft lean through the putt. So you'll see good golfers do this. They create shaft lean, they maintain it down the line. You'll see poor golfers do this. They'll flip the putter. Well, here's the deal. So here's a classic example of two birds with one stone. So instead of taking out a club and saying, okay, I'm going to take out this club and I know I got to have shaft lean, I want to work on shaft lean through the full swing. Well, if you sit there and cast it your whole life, I promise you, even if you slow it down, you're still going to cast it when you speed it up. So how about this? We pull out a putter and we go putt. And we go putt for it. Or we just work on the motion with the putter. And now we work on shaft lean with that putter. We build that. Now we put it into the next thing. We put it into chipping. We build that. We put it into pitching. We build that. Now we put it into the full swing. That's a classic example of appropriate and good training, which we call two birds with one stone. And it's exactly what we do in the school. And I'm going to give you a second example of this, okay? I'm going to pull out, we have a little training tool here called the Excalibur, okay? And I'm just going to lay it down here, okay, real simple. And you can do this with a golf ball, without a golf ball. Okay, I'm going to do it without a golf ball for a minute. Okay? Now in a full swing, and in particular the single plane swing, we're trying to get our hands down the line as long as possible. Mo talked about this a lot. He would say, my hands go down the line longer than any golfer. Because of us getting away from the golf ball, of us clearing the body, we're able to face up an impact and try to keep those hands down that line for an extended period of time. So how do we train that? Because here's what happens. When you go into a full swing, you can try to slow it down. You can try to put slow motion on it. It's very hard to hit a ball at 25% or 10% or 15%. You hit a full swing. You're swinging at a full, and did those hands go down the line or did they not? How do you even check that? How do you check it? Pull out a putter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up with this putter. I'm going to square it up to this Excalibur. I'm going to take a putt and I'm going to hold that finish, making sure that putter goes right down that line. So notice, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to set up and I'm going to hold that finish right down the line. So right now, as long as my putter stays square down that line, that's proving right now that my hands are down the line. So what you don't see is this putter coming inside, or the putter coming over the top, or the putter going inside or outside. What you see is this putter straight down the line. Okay, this right now, so let's combine those. Let's get the shaft lean on the putter and let's get the putter going down the line. So now not only am I creating shaft lean in the club, I'm now working on what? Hands down the line. So, and common sense tells you right now, if I get my hands down the line with the putter, which keeps his face square longer, keeps it towards the target longer, I get my shaft lean, which this putter's built to hit with shaft lean, so it gets the proper loft in the putter, gets the best roll on the ball. So I get good shaft lean, I get my hands down the line. What's that going to do for my putting? Just a little bit of that drills. Obviously, it's going to greatly improve that putting, which is almost 50% of your game. But the other thing is this is a club attacking a golf ball going towards a target. It's the same thing as saying I have a club here attacking a golf ball going towards a target. So whether I'm putting, whether I'm chipping, whether I'm pitching or hitting a full swing, I've got a club in my hand attacking a golf ball going towards a target. So I'm developing a movement or a feel in the body. So if I develop a movement or a feel of the body of shaft leaning with the putter and hand going down the line, only naturally will I be able to take that into a full swing. And that's why when I first said earlier, I said, whether it's me or my staff, we see immediately. So let's say I have a golfer that comes out right now and he does this. So he sets up over it and we see him at the school and he does this. And he brings the putter inside. And folks, I'll have James up here in a minute when we talk about this, but that's the majority of our students when we first see them. So they sit up and they come over here. Folks, that is a cast with an over-the-top move with your driver. That's a slice with your driver. That's a top with your driver. That's a pull with your driver. That's significant loss of distance with your driver. Versus I have somebody who comes up and does this. Sets up, creates shaft lean, and goes right down the line. Now, that person has a chance to get their hands down the line, to get that face of every club in their bag square down the line, create shaft lean in the club with every club in the bag. So if I'm saying right now, you come to our school or you come see us personal, and we don't start you with putting, wouldn't that be a crime? Wouldn't that not make sense? Because how do we train you to see if we've got shaft lean in the club? If your hands are down the line, if we don't start small, okay? Sure, I can throw it on video, but I won't even be able to catch it that fast on video. And number one, you won't even feel it. Whereas this, I can set up right now, take a perfect putt, hold shaft lean, hold that position. I can hold this for minutes. I can hold this for hours. I mean, if I wanted to. I'm literally feeling what it feels right now to get my hands away from the body, the hands down the line, and to create shaft lean in the club, okay? So, this is the epitome of what we call two birds with one stone. Okay? And I'm going to start with the putter. Now, and I have this built up here, we're going to work it into chipping. Okay? But before I give you the two birds with one stone, I want to bring in James here for a second. And I'm going to bring James in and out tonight. So James coming on the camera. All right, so James gives me a little break here. All right. So now, James is, I'm going to talk to you guys about this in a second. He is our school manager. He's been doing this for years and years. He's a United States Golf Teaching Foundation professional. He's been actually our school manager and runs a lot of stuff for us, but probably 75% of the schools James goes on the road to teach. He's always at the camps. He's at some of the 3-day schools, but he manages all my staff out there, manages his staff out there, and manages our schools. But now, I want James to talk for a few seconds here. So you have somebody out there right now, and they're looking at you, and you answer these calls all the time, and they're saying, why should I come to a 3-day school? Okay, so why should I come to a 3-day school? And you give them the curriculum and of the school, and it has putting, it has chipping, and so on, okay? Describe right now when that typical student comes in and you watch them putt, okay, and they're putting. What do you see? Tell me what you see. So you got 10, 15, 20 students sitting there. They're out there putting. What do you see?
Number one, they don't slow down.
Okay.
Number two, they don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
Number three, you described it perfectly, is you have that cast over the top move.
Right.
Everything. And to try and get them to slow down is the hardest thing that we do.
Right.
We explained, you talked about that initial talk we do in the mornings. We set the stage for how you're going to learn this. And we talk about small movements to big movements.
In fact, in our academy in Oklahoma City, on the wall, in front of the window that you look out into the range, and these huge bold letters, you'll see this. And what's it say, James?
The slower you go, the faster you'll get it.
The slower you go, the faster you'll get it. Well, how do you slow down something even more than to putter chip? Because we're not saying like slow motion, that's part of it, but also miniaturize the movement.
Yep.
So tell me right now, if we had a 3-day school or 5-day school and you didn't start with putting and then chipping, where would we be? If you said, okay, just jump right into the full swing, what would happen?
They'd be frustrated from the first hour. They'd be tired after hour 2, and you wouldn't see them on day 2.
Right, they'd be gone. They'd be gone, wouldn't they? Because they'd be totally frustrated and worn out, wouldn't they?
None of us can do it.
Right.
None of our demographic can sit on the range and pound golf balls for an hour, let alone 2, 3, 4 hours.
That's another point I want to bring up in that and talk to James about. So let's say you come to a 3-day school, James, okay? Yep. And if you look at the amount of hours, it's almost like, let's take out lunch. So it's like 7 hours of instruction a day. It's 8 counting lunch, okay? So it's 7 a day. So you got 21 hours of instruction, okay? So out of those 21 hours, how much time, let's just say straight out, is out there pounding balls?
Let's see, you don't hit a golf ball until the afternoon of day 2. that'll be about an hour at most, 45 minutes to an hour.
Right.
The morning of day 3, we'll do driver mechanics for half an hour, right before lunch. And then after lunch, we have about 2 hours worth of work to do, and that will be a mixture of everything.
So you just freaked everybody out, and they're adding this
did.
up in their head, and they're saying 21 hours, I'm only hitting balls for 3 or 4 hours. What the?
At most.
Okay. What are you doing besides that? So let's talk about full swing. What are you doing besides that?
We are solidifying your address and grip. If your address and grip is not right, forget it. Don't even try.
Right.
We work through all of the positions,
Right.
trying to create strength and stability in all of those positions.
There you go.
So once you learn those, then we can put it in motion.
Right.
Then we can introduce the golf ball once we have the motion.
So now let's back up a half step on
Sure.
that. So, and so let's talk about this, because I want you to understand this, because I'm going to get back into 2 birds with 1 stone here. But this, I'm going to reiterate how this works. So you're at a 3-day school right now. And let's just say the students in 3-day school. And the first morning, we got introductions. We have some process of learning, trying to make them good students, talking about subconscious versus conscious thought, trying to get you guys in the same wavelength, a good process for learning. And the very first thing we do is we go putt, right? And we basically putt until lunch, am I right?
Yes.
And then after lunch, what do we do after lunch?
We talk about Mo model.
We get in the Mo model. So you physically get a representation of what you're trying to work towards.
Yep.
Here's the model. Now, I may not look like Mo. Mo's 5'7" and 100 pounds overweight.
I'm not Mo.
You may be 6'4" and skinny. You may be 5'2" and who knows? I mean, but we're going to try to get in that same swing model of Mo, right?
We're going to get you as close to the model as your body will allow you to
Right.
go.
Okay, so now you look at Mo model. What do you do after the Mo model? What do you do?
We'll go outside and we talk address and grip.
So you're
We
doing
go right into address and
the
grip.
core fundamentals of the full swing, address and grip. They haven't swung a club yet, right? What do you do after that?
After that, we get into single plane position trainer and we talk about the initial movements from address and grip to the top of the backswing.
So you're done putting, and now you're doing into grip and setup, and then one to two, right?
Yep.
And then you're done for the day.
That's it.
And then day 2,
They're wore out at
then
this point.
day 2 you come in, right? And the very first, we have a classroom session. It's always a great classroom session, Q&A from the day before. And then what's the first thing you do after that?
We do a quick putting review.
Yep.
And we go right into chipping.
Chipping. So the next step of training is chipping. Why is that? Because we're going to start getting a little body. We're going to talk about this in a second. A little body motion going on with those hands down the line and the shaft lean. Am I right? And then we go from where? Go into chipping. Then what do we do?
We have lunch.
Right.
After lunch, we will go into, if we haven't fully completed Mo model, we'll finish Mo model from the top of the swing through transition to finish.
Right.
Then we'll go out and we start working with the impact bag
Right.
and the short
Leverage
game
bag.
impact trainer,
Yep.
the leverage bag, and we start making impact a very solid and strong position in your golf swing.
Right.
Understanding that, and then we introduce the golf ball.
Right. So notice, so now you're on the afternoon of day 2, we're bringing the golf ball in, but this is like martial arts training, folks. You're not going to go punch somebody or block somebody unless you've learned the movement, the balance, the stability, the perfect grip, the perfect setup. Because if you do, you're just going to get knocked out or you're going to be in a bad position.
Yeah.
You've got to understand this first. I'm not going to go in day 3 yet. I'm going to bring James back up in a minute because I want to get back into the 2 birds here because I want you to understand this. So right now, we've done the putting training. And in the putting training, we're trying to get shaft lean in that putter. We're trying to get those hands down the line, plus some other things. Am I right? But those are the
true.
2 biggies.
Yep.
Okay? And good, solid fundamentals of putting. Now we're getting into that Mo model. Now we're getting into the grip and setup of the full swing, right? Okay. Now the second day we go into chipping. Am I right? In the morning. Okay.
Yep.
We're going to rock and chipping. Thanks, bud.
Right,
All
see you
right.
in a bit.
I'll bring him back in a second. All right. So let's go into the Mo model. Okay. And let's talk about chipping. And guys, this is the chipping technique. So right now, by the 2 birds method, you should have what we call shaft lean and hands down the line, and you've built that with putting. And if you haven't been able to do that with a putter, right, as of yet, you stick with that. You're like a white belt or the lowest belt on martial arts. You're way down there right now because you haven't got that next level yet, okay? I need to learn these levels of martial arts sometimes when I talk about this. Okay, so you guys follow me? Now, you can get a little shaft lean on that putter. You can get the hands down the line. We're doing good. Now we roll into chipping. So what do we have on chipping, okay? And I'm going to get right now, I'm going to grab a short game board, okay? And I have a short game board right here. And the whole thing on the short game board, I'm going to show you guys this. This edge right here is my feet, where I line up my feet, my lower body. This top line is my shoulders. So the first thing you notice is they're not even. They don't line up together. So when I set this down, my lower body is open, my upper body is square. Okay, and I'll give you a down the line view here in a second. So right now I have an open lower body, a square upper body. I have a back ball position. So the ball is back on a chip because I need a sharp angle of attack down on this chip. Now when I set up, I put a good grip on it. I push my hands forward. I've now created shaft lean. Okay? So I've created shaft lean. Now I'm going to set up over this chip, and I'm going to hit a chip, and I'm going to hold my finish. Now notice, as I hold my finish, my hands are down the line. I'm trying to maintain shaft lean the best I can. But what I'm starting to put in this motion now is a movement of my hips, my knees, and a little bit of my shoulders. I'm starting to move the body. As the chip gets longer, obviously I move a little bit more. So if you notice again here from a face-on view, as I set up over this, I'm now turning my hips back with my knees, my shoulders are turning, I'm creating a little bit of a hinge, now my hands go down that line. So what's happening now is I'm starting to move the body and then still want to maintain shaft lean and the hands down the line. When I putted, all I moved was my shoulders. None of the other body moved. Everything else stayed dead still. On a chip, now we're starting to move the body. So you see how this progresses up. So here's the progression. So I went on the putt, hands down the line, shaft lean, hands leading, to now a chip where I'm now starting to progress a movement of the hips. Now, when we start doing proper movement of the body in the full swing, and James, we're going to get to that. We haven't quite got there yet in the school yet, okay? We haven't got there yet. But when we start doing that, we start talking about transition. We start talking about the kinematic sequence. We start talking about the hips versus the shoulders and so on, okay? But this is very small and very easy. When you make impact on a full swing, your hips, your lead knee will start, your lead knee and your hips start to swing. At impact, your hips are 20 degrees ahead of your shoulders. They get ahead of your shoulders. That's what creates a proper sequence for impact. Well, on a chip, because we don't move as much as a full swing, we have to cheat these hips open a little bit. So right now, I'm going to open up my feet, my knees, my hips 10 degrees, and I'm going to get my shoulders back to square. So I've done about half of the transition. See how we're working into this now. We're starting to put a little transition into it. So now I'm going to take the lower body, and I'm going to take the club back nice and small, and I'm going to get the hands going down the line. Okay? And I can do it with or without a golf ball. So I'm going to set up, turn back, hands down the line. Set up, turn back, hands down the line. Now, something I like to do on this is I like to get a yardstick. I like to set it down just ahead of where I'd make impact with the golf ball. So basically, this is where the golf ball would be. Now, give yourself some gap in there so you don't hit it. Okay? Now, I want to set up with an open lower body, square shoulders, clubs lined up with that yardstick. Now, I'm going to go down that line and notice what I'm doing here. And here's my check system. This club is down that yardstick. I still have my hands leading, my knees are flexed, and my club face is square. So now I'm transitioning my hands down the line. I'm trying to maintain shaft lean, but I'm getting a movement of the club head in the body. Okay? And I'll give you a face-on view here. So, because what you will see, and what most people do when they chip, is they do this. They'll sit up over this, and instead of going down the line right here, they'll come straight inside. Okay, and I'll give you a down the line view here in a second. But right now, I want you to work and maintain it. And if all you did was set up in a good chipping position, you took the club back and you held this position right here, if that's all you did and held that position, what's it feel like to keep that club face square through impact? What's it feel like to get the hands leading through impact? What's it feel like to try to maintain shaft lean? The only way to do it is to keep a flexed lead knee towards that lead toe. The only way to do that into this position is to get in a good lower body position. That's the only way. Because notice, watch my lower body here. My lead knee's flexed, my trail knee's flexed towards that lead toe. If I take and I spin the lower body out, now my club comes inside and comes away from the target. Because folks, this is a impact position of the full swing. So right here, does that look familiar? That's impact of a full swing. Look at this position right here. So I'm going to show you again. Ready, guys? Impact, just past impact of a full swing. Look at that position. Now I'm going to get over top of chipping position. Look familiar? The only difference was a narrower stance. Don't need as wide of a stance because the chip's a nice short shot. So impact of a full swing. Now look at a chip. Okay, so if you can't do this on a chip, if you get here and you pull that arm on, flip the hands, pull the arm on, flip the hands, I promise you on a full swing, you're going to see this. And that's what we see in a majority of our students. So the question is right here, what's the chance you can master this position of a full swing, which is a core position? This is your feeling of greatness. This is past impact of a full swing if you can't do it on a chipping type motion. This is all part of our training, okay? And I'm gonna give you one more down the line view here. So I'm gonna set up, and I'm gonna go down here. So I'm gonna set this up. And notice, this is what I want. Open lower body, square upper body, down the line. Both knees flex towards a lead toe down the line. Hands leading, shaft lean, hand down the line. What most of you guys will do when you start is you'll do this. You'll pull in across it. That's an over-the-top move, that's a cast, that's a flip. So I'm gonna bring James back in here for a second, okay? Just for a minute, I'm bringing him on and off camera, so, okay?
I'll hide in the back.
Okay, so James, you're on the second morning of day 2, so your students are over their nerves now. They're having fun. We're enjoying the process. They've seen the Mo model. They've already done their punting session. They've worked on their grip and their setup. Now they're out there working on chipping. What percentage of the students that come to our school at first will get their hands down the line and get a good lower body?
None.
You didn't hesitate in that.
No.
None. Okay.
I can't get them to get their hands down the line. I
And
can't
why
get their
is
hips
it?
to move.
And this isn't being mean, but let's talk about why that is. Because they're at a school for a reason. They're trying to improve their swing.
They are.
They're trying to figure out their faults and their fixes. They're trying to figure out their common faults. They're trying to figure out what's going on for them. Okay? And so what happens is they're coming across, or they're coming over top, they're casting the club, they're flipping the club, whatever it is, which is a majority of students, because they can't get those knees flexed towards that toe and get the hands on the line.
Nope.
And that position protects the back, protects the body, and it's most core position, am I right?
True.
So I'm gonna ask, if they can't hit that in a chip, what's the chance they can hit it in the full swing?
Less than zero.
Yeah, that's what
I
we
had
said at
zero
school.
before, but it was less than zero.
Less
now.
than zero. And so, and if they try, what's gonna happen? So if they can't hit that position, but they still try, what's gonna happen?
They'll hurt themselves.
Hear what he's saying right there.
Or what we see is their lead or their trail foot comes off the ground to protect themselves.
Right, and they get very frustrated.
Yep.
Okay, so right now, so I need you guys to understand, so I'm bringing James up here because he's the master of the schools, and he's telling you exactly how we set up our schools to help you in this transition, to help you get through the two birds, am I right?
Yes.
Because you might as well just call these 3-day schools a two-bird school, because it's helping you get to this position. Because here's the deal right now, and I'm just gonna ask James this straight out. If you did, and I'm asking this again, if you did a 3-day school or 5-day camp, and you did it without putting, you did no putting, no chipping, no pitching in the schools, you did none of it. What do you think is the chance those students would learn or get some of the full swing? What do you think?
None.
None?
They may get a smidgen of movement. They may understand that their body's rotating.
Right.
But other than that, any of the core fundamentals, no, they
Right.
won't get it. They'll be too frustrated because what happens is they focus on that little bugger down there.
Right, the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas when we're talking about this, and so that's why it's two birds, because think about it. Let's say you shoot an 80 now or 90 now, maybe you shoot 100 now. And I get you working on your putting, I get you working on chipping, and we're going to talk about pitching here in a second. I get you working on that. That's 75% of your game. So without you even knowing it, your scores are going to start doing what? And that's not even working on your full swing yet. No. But now all of a sudden you get the lower body working right in a chip, which is the same movement in a full swing. You get shaft lean in a putt and a chip, which is the same shaft lean as a full swing. You get your hands down the line in a putt and a chip, which is the same as a full swing. All of a sudden now that driver gets a little straighter. Those hybrids get a little better. You start making a divot with your irons.
Ooh.
And what happens? All of a sudden that full swing starts to improve a little bit and you don't even realize it. Am I right?
Yep. Your
And this
confidence
is
starts to go up.
And this is why we call those that come to our schools, those that join our membership, 10%ers. And the reason is because 90% of golfers practice improperly. And the reason they practice improperly is they go out on the range as pound balls. And they pound balls and try to get better. And they don't allow for the small movement. They don't allow for the little movement. They don't allow the body to learn. And
True.
that's the problem. And that's why we have our classroom-like settings in these schools is because, guys, one of the greatest talks we do in schools, we talk about subconscious thought and conscious thought. Because you guys want to build a swing that goes to subconscious thought. We want to do that. We want to get a swing, we go on the golf course and we can, as Mo said, think about the birds and the bees, the flowers and the trees, and play great golf. Think about what the wind's doing out there. Think about who you're playing with. You're not thinking about what? Grinding on the golf course, you're playing great golf, okay? That's how you got to put this into subconscious movement. But the only way to do it is to develop it through conscious thought, which is doing it small,
And
slowing it down, doing the small movements that you can now, your conscious thought can pick up and over time turn to subconscious.
True.
There's no way to do that. So
Can't
now,
shortcut it.
So now we've got into day 2. We're doing the chipping.
Okay.
We get through a chipping session. We get in the afternoon. What do we do in the afternoon, day 2 again?
We start with the rotation drills.
Right, rotation drills.
We get our body moving without trying to figure out what our arms and the club are doing. Let's figure out what this is doing.
So now we start working on the kinematic sequence, because if you guys can't move your hips, you can't get those knees working a little bit, move those shoulders, you can't get some rotation. Guys, it's a rotational sport. Golf is a rotational sport. Now, as we get older, we get less rotation, but it's still there. And that, less rotation, you get a little bit shorter, that's fine. But the point is, it's a rotational sport. So you did the chipping, which started some of the movement and a little bit of rotation, but not much.
Nope.
And then we get in the afternoon, we start increasing that rotation, right?
And it freaks them out when we show them exactly how little the body is really moving.
Right. It's they all think that's this huge movement, and it's not. What happens is you take smaller movement, but you make them effective. You line them up properly, put in the proper sequence, and you can create some incredible accuracy and speed.
Yes.
But they have to be lined up properly and have to be done in sequence.
Yep.
And that's why we go from chipping, and then what do we do? So we do the rotation, and then what else do we do in the afternoon the second day?
Then we get in, or afternoon, second day, then we bring into impact.
Right,
We bring
impact.
out the
So the leverage bag.
The leverage bag.
And we literally show them impact, which is very interesting, because I can sit here right now and watch when I hit this bag. I just go to impact and look where I'm at in this impact. Flex lead knee, both knees flex towards that lead toe. Hands
familiar.
are leading. Club head down the line. Look familiar?
Yeah.
That's a chipping position with a square stance.
Yep.
And we start focusing on that position and get a feeling for that position, am I right?
Yep, and the real key thing is, go back to that position again for me really quick.
Okay.
Here's one thing we really work on is once we get into this position of feeling how much strength and stability
Right.
your body has, so you can push that with your core muscles
Right.
and sit there and try and push the bag. I don't want to be in here smacking the bag.
Right.
It's getting into that strong
guys,
position, pushing the bag.
Here's a classic example of subconscious versus conscious thought. Because we put you into the bag, we have you hold that position. Trail shoulders is lower than the lead shoulder. We've got our shoulder tilt now. We've got force, we've got ground force in these feet. We've got them pushing the bag forward. We've got the trail arm below the lead arm. Same thing as impact of a chip. And all of a sudden, we're into the full swing here. You hold this, you push this bag a little bit, and all of a sudden the conscious brain goes, whoa, I'm not sure I've ever felt that before. That's a very strong position. Well, that's because guys, take that same thing, put the hands back, and try to push
Can't
the
do
bag. You feel like you feel like a little kid. I mean, you feel like your 5-year-old kid that can, and all of a sudden push your hands forward, hit that bag, and you go, whoa. And the body, all of a sudden, the conscious thought goes, man, I like those hands leading. I like that shaft lean. I like the feet down. I like the knees flexed. I like the shoulder lower. Yeah. And when it says that, when your conscious thought feels it, it eventually turns into subconscious movement over time. Yeah. But you have to do it again and again and again. And that's why we train this way.
Yeah, because your body doesn't know what you want it to do yet.
Right.
So you're going to put it in that position and show some strength there. And all the time, as you add a little bit more pressure with your body,
right.
your brain starts to go, oh, I can feel my trail arm.
Right.
I can feel my trail pelvis. I can feel what my trail leg is doing. I can feel it into my lead leg. And all of a sudden, the more you do it, the stronger you are, all of a sudden your body will go back there
100%.
Without you even thinking about it. Like you said, that unconscious
So
movement.
you work into that, then we work in that transition in that bag, and then we go and we get into day 3. In day three, we have a Q&A session in the morning, beautiful Q&A. It's always the best one, day 3. And then we immediately go, review a little bit of chipping, and then we go into what?
Pitching. We just take it one step further.
Okay. Get off stage. All right. So, guys, you kind of see what's going on here, because I really want to show you guys this, because this is no joke how we do this. This is the basis of Graves Golf. This is what we do at Graves Golf. And our core school, our #1 school we do, the one we do the most, the one that all my staff's out there doing, the one that Todd and I have been doing for 26 years is how we founded this company. It was our 3-day schools. And that's what James is describing. It's all around this two birds deal, okay? So let's talk about pitching for a few seconds. So now, I'm gonna grab just a lofted club. I got a lofted wedge here, okay? And all I'm gonna do now is combine what I just did with the chipping and the putting and put it into a motion of a full swing. Now, this is not a full swing yet. This is a miniaturized version of the full swing. So I still have to get the lower body open slightly. So the lower body is open 10 degrees because I'm not going to move my hips as dramatically as I do in a full swing. Are they moving? Yes. Are they moving like a full swing? Yes. But I'm shortening up the backswing because it's a small chip pitch. It might be 40 yards, it might be 50 yards, it might be 30 yards. It's not a full swing yet. So I've got to get this lower body open. I got to cheat it open a little bit. So my lower body's open, my upper body's square. My hands are leading. I can choke down a little bit if I want for some control. Now, I'm going to fold the trail arm up. It's like a long chip. I'm going to fold the trail arm up. As I fold this trail arm up in the backswing, I'm rotating the hips and shoulders. So I'm going back, folding the trail arm up. I'll just go to waist high right now to start. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to impact, and I'm going to fold the lead arm through and finish high. And as I do this, I'm going to keep both knees flexed, both feet down, and I'm going to get the arms to go above the shoulders. Okay? So I'm going to fold, and what I'm going to call it, I'm just going to say it's a fold, fold going through. It's a fold of the trail arm, fold of the lead arm going through. Now notice, my hips are moving back, my hips are moving through on impact, my shoulders are following my hips, my arms are following my shoulders. I'm still creating shaft lean, my hands are still leading, and now I'm going through a full swing or finishing of a pitch. Now I'll do one in slow motion for you guys on a face on and down the line view so you can see how this is related. So I set up, okay, I'll even put a little soft golf ball here, okay, a little Nerf ball here. Now, lower body's open, upper body's square. I now take the club back slow, take it back. Now I start to cock and hinge the hands up, folding the trail arm. The hips are moving, the shoulders are moving. I'll just stop at waist high. Now, I come through impact, my hands lead the impact. My shaft lean goes through the ball, so my hands are ahead of the ball at impact. I make impact through the ball. Now my hands go through, my knees are still flexed, my feet are still down. My club head now releases over, my lead arm is folding. Now I come up to the finish. Now I'm going to go down in a down the line view here for you. Because now we're putting a combination of the putting, which is the hands leading, shaft lean, hands down the line, chipping, hands leading, shaft lean, hands down the line, starting to move the hips, starting to move the shoulders. Now pitching, we're just exaggerating that, and that exaggeration with a middle to forward ball position now gives you that loft of the golf ball with a very lofted wedge, and to give you spin and lift in the golf ball like a good pitch. So my lower body's open, ball's in the middle of my stance. I create shaft lean setting up. My lower body's open, upper body's square. I start taking the club back. I take it back, I start folding the trail arm, I start cocking and hinging the wrists and the hands. Now I'm going to stop at waist high. Now I come back to impact, hands lead, come in the shaft back to impact. I make impact with the ball, shaft lean, hands down the line, hands leading, hand goes down the line. Now I come up, hands finish high with the pitch. And one of the great checkpoints for a good pitch and a good single plane pitch and a good pitch where your hands are down the line is when you finish, your hands will finish high above your shoulders and here, not behind you. They'll finish high. Mo said he liked to basically look through the window, like look through his arms. So the hands finish above your shoulders, not behind you. That's how you get the hands on the line. Mo was the one, and he said this often. We do demos with Mo, we talk to Mo, Mo will be talking to hundreds of people, and he says, I pull the flag out with my hand. So if he's hitting towards the flag, he goes, I pull the flag out with my hand, meaning I'm throwing the hands towards the target. He'd say, all other golfers throw it away, I throw it towards the target. And the only way you can do that is to work on getting those hands down that line, getting that shaft lean, and the hands towards the target. And so you do that by going what? Obviously putting first, chipping second, and then you go into a pitching type motion. And I'm going to bring James back in here real quick. Okay? So James, so here's this become the one last time to bring in here. So we're pitching on day 3 of a school.
Yep.
Okay. Describe the difference between a pitch and a full swing. So what's the difference?
Narrower stance with a pitch, feet
Okay.
or hips and everything are
And that's
open,
because it's not
shoulders.
quite as long as a full swing, so we control a little bit more. What else?
Stance. Abbreviated backswing.
Shorter backswing to control distance. What else? That's it.
But it.
That's it. No, that's it, guys. So basically what we've done here is we've shortened up the backswing, we've been opening up the stance to bring this shot shorter, like a pitch. Okay? But now we're basically into the full swing. So a pitch is a miniature full swing. Am I right?
True statement.
That's why day 3 we're pitching before ever working to what?
Letting go on anything else.
Let it go. Because notice, up to day 3, we've done a lot of mechanics. We've done tons of mechanics. We worked on position on day 2, position 0, position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4. We've worked on impact position. We've worked on a great grip. We worked on a great setup. Am I right?
Yes.
We've even hit a few balls on those on day 2. But we haven't we call it release the Krakens until day 3. And the reason we do that, because now we've got a pitch, which is a miniature swing. So hopefully now you've got your hands down the line, you've got shaft lean, you've got a good grip in the club, you've got a good setup, you know what position 1 is, you know what position 2 is, you know what position 3 is, you know what position 4 is. You may not be hitting them yet, but you got a good visual of that Mo model you saw on day 2. You got a very good representation of them,
At least
all right?
you got a feeling
Right.
for the finish and you get balanced
Right.
when you get there too.
So we pitch on day 2, or day 3, I'm
Day
sorry.
3.
And then we work, and then after pitching, what do?
We talk about driver mechanics,
Okay.
and we work, because there's a slight difference in the setup
Right.
and ball position.
Right.
The swing itself is the same.
Right.
So we talk about driver mechanics, we let them hit driver, get it under the system for a
Right.
few minutes. We go have lunch.
Right.
And then after lunch, we have a really, really quick Q&A session to make sure that everything we've covered is crystal clear, or at least less modified.
Right.
And then the afternoon, we break it down with individual instruction. We get the video out, so we'll
Right.
take a look at your swing on video. And basically, we want you to attack that one thing that we've identified in both your putting, chipping, pitching, and full
Right.
swing, while you have the instructors there as a last chance, so that you leave understanding what you and your body can do.
Right. And you get to see it.
And we get to see it.
Yeah,
too.
and so you can put it on video and you get to see
Yep.
it. So you guys, and that's why I have it here, because, this is the Two Birds program. This is the Two Birds with One Stone program. I want to explain how this works, because I know a lot of people do this for a long time. They've studied our Two Birds videos, they've studied our DVDs, they've gone to On Demand, they've looked at all that, but I wanted to refresh this. And also, this time of year, we get a lot of people signing up for 3-day schools. Right now, we have an early bird special going on. We have $500 off the 3-day schools.
Yes.
We have, when you sign up for that, you get the single plane 30 free. The price of schools is going up next year. So basically, you're saving about $1,000 on schools right now. And we're getting tons and tons and tons and tons of questions about how come we perform the 3-day schools the way we do. Am I right?
Yes.
And I wanted to show you that, because we're literally walking you through this. So here's the question for you. If somebody came out to you right now and said, is it valuable to come to a 3-day school, what would you say?
Absolutely.
Okay, why? Convince me right now why.
Convince you
it's
why?
valuable. Yeah.
Because you're going to learn so much on your own. Chances are you're not going to look at your swing on video.
Right.
But when you come and see us, we're going to slow everything down for you, and we are going to put you in position.
Right.
We are going to move your body into a spot where you're going, well, I read about that, but oh my God, I've never felt that before. I've never realized that. And all of a sudden, we're going to reinforce for you what your body can really do.
And here's the issue when it comes down to, and I can give you examples of all this, but here's a perfect example. So a guy's got a putter and he's taking it inside, And all of a sudden he's like, why am I taking it inside? And he's wiggling the lower body all over the place, okay? Am I right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden he never saw that, but the instructor sees it like that and fixes it in a minute and says, hey, you got to stop moving those knees when you putt, because those hands aren't going down the line when you move. And all of a sudden the guy gets over a chip and he gets over and he flips his hands. And the plug face gets closed and he comes inside. And James walks up to him and goes, you never moved your hips. You didn't move your hips in the backswing. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Yes,
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, and
No,
then
you
exactly.
didn't.
No, you
Yeah.
didn't. You didn't move them. He puts it on video and goes, look, you didn't move them. And wow, I never realized I didn't move my hips.
Yeah.
And then that guy takes a pitch and he's fat and he's going, he's fatted. And James goes, look at your backswing. It's over top your shoulder. Your backswing is so much longer than your through swing, so you're deaccelerating. And there's no way to hit a good pitch with deacceleration. So basically, and then in a full swing, he's ripping it inside because his grip's bad, or maybe he's taking it inside because he's not moving his hip, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But here's the issue. When you get in person at a school, they'll tell you why you're making that mistake. Why? Because guys, you have what was called the faults and fixes, okay? You fix a fault, but here's what happens. Most people don't understand that correlation unless they have somebody telling them. Am I right, James?
True.
They get lost, am I right?
Yep. And they chase, instead of trying to fix what their body's doing,
Right.
or what their motions are causing the ball to do,
Right.
they look at the ball, then they go, well, I'm going to make the ball do this,
Right.
which is the complete opposite of what we should be
Right.
doing.
And that's
the ball's
big-
irrelevant.
And that's the biggest issue, because you've got to go back to the core fundamental, the core issue, what you are doing wrong, fix it. Create the new fundamental, create the new habit. And then all of a sudden things start flowing, they start working right. That's why you got to get eyeballs on this. We talk about sending in videos, or if you want the fastest session, you come to a school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. And guys, that's what we set up right now. And we'll talk about that for a few seconds while James is up here. Guys, 3-day schools are our core instruction. This is where we try to get people to start. If you can make a 3-day school, we're trying to get you in. You guys have got in some, so here's the deal. So, because this is why, if you come to 3-day school, this is what I'm going to suggest you guys do. And this is what it comes down to. So let's say you set up a 3-day school and you're going to come in January, maybe come in February, March, whatever.
Yep.
So it's going to be a few months before you come to the 3-day school. Well, we're going to give you right now the single plane 30 free. That's a 30-day, basically, fundamental review course. of just core fundamentals of the full swing. Starts in day 1, goes to day 30. I would do it a month or 2 before the school. Am I right?
True.
And then you come to the 3-day school, you come see our master instructor, you spend 3 days with them. You're going to have notes upon notes upon notes from the school. You're going to have a blast at the school. Then you're going to walk away. And what do they get after the school, James? What do they get?
A series of follow-up emails to touch base and remind you of everything that we've talked about during the school. And it also gives you an opportunity to send emails back to us going, you know, I was doing this, I didn't quite get it all.
Right.
Could you explain this to me?
You
And
get
I
a
am more than happy to
45-day
do that.
follow-up videos that review everything from putting, chipping, pitching, the grip, the step, position 0. It covers everything you cover in the school, little chunks at a time to refresh. And you also, excuse me, connections with the coach.
Yes.
I mean, you've met the coach at school, so you've got core connections at the coach. Hopefully, after that, you get into our membership program, you get into some type of follow-up program, but let's forget that right now. Let's just talk about what you do right before school, what you do at the school, and what you get after that. So that's 30 days before. Maybe it can be 60 days before they do it early. You got the 3-day school, then you got a 45-day follow-up with videos. Guys, you understand how this progress works. This is the training system we set up for you guys. This is what we do. And tell them what we got going on right now, because while we're getting towards the end of this program, tell them what we got going on right now.
Specials going on right now. We get $500 off of any of the 3-day schools.
Okay.
We have that. We have the single plane 30.
Free,
Which
is $300.
$300 value. We are putting everything online, so there's going to be a new website coming up. We'll talk about that here in a minute.
Okay.
On where you can actually book the schools online.
Okay.
You can do that. Schools are selling fast. Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
We release the schedule.
So if they're interested
Couple
right
weeks
now in
ago.
getting to school, and guys, I'm just going to throw you this. I'm the owner of the company.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you this, guys, right now. James knows this. In about a month, maybe a little bit less, the price of the schools is going up. So we're trying to get you guys in before. If you guys are interested in coming to a school, you want to buy a certificate right now, you can buy a certificate. A lot of people do this every year about this time when we put the early bird special out. Buy a certificate. It never expires. You can use it any single time. Am I right?
True.
You can use it
Never.
anytime. Okay. You can use
Never
it forever and
expires.
ever. Never expires. You can buy a certificate with the special. You get the SP30. You get the certificate, and when you come to school, you can use that certificate. You can buy. We get guys to buy a couple of them actually.
Yeah.
But tell them how they can get in if they're interested. So if they're interested in more information about schools,
Email us at schools@gravesgolf.com.
Schools, SCHOOLS at gravesgolf.com.
Okay.
Just email that and say, hey, I'm interested, or I want more information, or tell me about the special. Okay?
Yep. Email me direct at jamesb@gravesgolf.com.
Okay.
And we'll handle it that way too. You can call the school phone, 405-250-6960. And either myself or one of my instructors will answer the phone, and happy to talk to you about setting up a certificate, setting up a school, whatever you want to do.
And
more information.
And drum roll, whatever you want to say, but drum roll real quick. I'm going to announce this tonight. We have a new website set up for you guys. It's singleplayinggolfschools.com. Singleplayinggolfschools.com. Okay? And if you want to go there and look at our schools, it has where they are, the agendas, where they're held, what time they start, when they finish, all the kinds of different stuff. All our school information is on there. You can always go to gravesgolf.com and look at the same information there, but we have one set just specifically for schools now. It's Single Plane Golf Schools. So don't leave out the golf. Singleplayinggolfschools.com. Okay, you can go there and look at the website. You can even sign up on there.
Yep.
And right now you can go there and you can sign up for the early bird special. That's going to come off very soon. So if you're interested in that, get into it now. Get into it now.
Yeah, do
Guys,
not hesitate.
if you can get to a 3-day school, it will so dramatically speed up your progress. It is ridiculous. It is crazy. It's amazing that people won't come for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and they'll kind of, watch us on video, use our YouTube stuff, maybe use our coaching program and so on. And then they come to a school and like, whoa, I wish I'd have done that like umpteenth days or weeks or months ago because of the amount of information they get. Am I right?
We give you 2 manuals. We give you our training manual. We also give you a notebook and a pen to write all your notes with. My biggest challenge to the guys when they come to the school, the ladies when they come to the school, is I want you to fill up that little red notebook with all of the aha moments when you've been working with the instructors. And there are many times during the schools I'll have them come back to me going, I need another book. I filled this one up.
We have a phenomenal membership program. We have phenomenal programs like the Fast Forward Training Program, the Single Plane University. Many of you are probably involved in that. We have phenomenal programs. But it is an athletic movement. It is an athletic endeavor. It is working on new fundamentals, new habits. Yeah. And no matter what, never, ever, ever, ever will hands-on training. You never will beat hands-on training.
No.
Hands-on training will always win. So when you can get a professional eyeballs on you and you can get professional hands on you, and can put you in the positions and set you in the positions, can show you the positions, can adjust your body into those positions. There's nothing better than that. And that's why I said, I'm always suggesting if you can get into schools, get in. And we do these specials now, like we're doing this one tonight, because you guys want to get in early. You want to get in January, February, March, so when your golf season starts, you've got a couple months to work on this stuff before the season starts. Yeah. So get in early, get in. And James is standing here, that's, he's a school manager, so he's always going to talk about this. School special going on right now, right, James?
Yep.
We're trying to get these things filled up. We've already got some that are sold out. So we got these things going, and if you guys want to get in again, you get the single plane 30 for free, $500 off any school, whether it's a camp or 3-day school, whichever one you want, and you get in before the price goes up.
Okay.
And schools@graysgolf.com if you've got questions, or jamesb@graysgolf.com if you've got questions.
Yep.
Thanks, bud.
Last thing, good. Remember, when you come to a school early in the year, not only show you the training, but all of the training that we're going to show you, you can do indoors without a club, without taking a golf ball.
Well, that's the whole point of this.
Set for the
guys,
spring.
The whole point of this is that 95% of the training we do with you guys, you can do inside. You can do in your office, in the basement, the den. Working on those positions, and you'll get it faster then. All right. All right. So thanks, bud. All right, so I'm going to wrap up tonight and wrap up the 2 birds with 1 stone program tonight. And I want to just hope you guys enjoyed this, but I want you guys to understand how this works, okay? I want you to understand that the components of the putting, the components of the chipping, the components of the fundamentals, those core fundamentals are directly tied to the full swing. And so if you walk away from anything in this program, I want you to walk away to say, hey, I'm going to go give that putting and chipping a little bit more time, just because I know that if I work on those key fundamentals, it'll help my full swing. It's very difficult to make changes in that full swing if you're not making change in the small motion. So might as well do it while we're putting, while we're chipping, while we're pitching. Because if you work on those and you get those mastered and you get those done, I promise you the full swing will just fall into place. And it will. And the other thing is think about this, and this is the last thing. Our typical demographic is 60 years of age or older. In fact, if you're closer to 70 years of age, that's our average age of our school. It's 60 years of age and older. Okay, 75% guys, 25% ladies. So we get a lot of ladies that come to our schools, and we get guys that come to our schools. Okay, but most of our demographic, you're not going to be able to go hit balls for hours and hours, or even go hit balls for an hour. But you can chip for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, maybe even an hour. You can pitch for a half hour. You can putt for endless. Okay, so why not do stuff you can do that doesn't wear out the body, and do it again and again and again, and be able to take those motions and put in the full swing, and then be able to master your full swing at the same time. This is what good players do. This is what we call the 10%ers. You want to get in that 10% group that improves every time you practice, understand this process, understand how to train. You understand this process, you understand how to train, not only will it improve your full swing, I promise you, it will dramatically lower your scores. So guys, gals out there, try to come to a school. Get in early. Try to get in now. Okay, we've got the special going on. It ends I think it ends like in a week. I have to ask Chris this. I know it's about to come up. I think it ends right about Thanksgiving or right about that time. So you can get in right now, save a bunch of money in the school, get the single plane 30 for free, save that money off when we get that new pricing going out. Save all that, come in, get some hand-on training. Now I promise you, get the hands-on training, review what's going on with your swing, get this working, and you have your best golf year ever. So guys, thanks for joining me tonight on the 2 birds, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.
What is happiness? Happiness is achievement. What's the father of achievement? Motivation. What's the mother? Encouragement. The fine golf swing is truly achievement. Man may lie, cheat, and steal for gain. But he'll never gain the golf swing. To gain the golf swing, man must work. It's work without toil. For those of us who know and love it, golf is truly happiness.